Members of the public, I think it's the first time we haven't any members of the public or speakers, so it'll be quite a change. Right, minutes. Is your wish I sign with a true and correct record, members?
Agree.
Thank you. Apologies for absence, please.
Apologies received from Councillor Janet Edinburgh, Frenchman.
I think it's a full house otherwise, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, members' interest, disposable. Party whipping arrangements.
No.
I don't have to explain to the public about any of the other bits. I'm sure I don't need to tell you about fire drill or anything like that, but I do need to tell you about the figures. At the end of September, 79% of majors and 6% of the appeals. Okay, so that are the two figures. It is expected in the future with new planning things coming out that will be judged on several other things, so it won't just be these two things we'll be reading out, it will be many others. Also, it's been prepared with Keith, Maria, Simon Bovey, a nice little guide for parish and town councils about planning. Right, several of us have put some input into it, and it's straight speaking. I hope it'll help us make good planning decisions. This will be going out to parish councils. So before it goes out to parish councils, each member of the planning committee, before you go, will get a copy of this. You can look through it and make any comments you wish to Maria, if you're not happy with something. Right, and we'll see what we can do. But it's quite good. It's down to earth, and I should think parishes will understand that. So, see what you think, anyway. Right, we intend to deal with the applications tonight. There is one that has been approved under delegated powers. That's the one in Broadstone. Yes, sorry, been refused under delegated powers, as per officer's advice. That's the application in Broadstone. The other two applications, I intend to deal with the one in Daventry first. So we'll go straight to Drayton and 0570.
Thank you, Chairman. Members will recall this site from the previous planning meeting, which members resolved to approve the application to vary condition 30 subject to entering a deed of variation. The previous application dealt with the improvement works at Yeomanry Way and Badley Road West, which were put on in error. This application relates to the junction improvement work for Western Avenue and London Road. It is currently at capacity and the works are required to mitigate the impacts of the 129 dwellings which are going to go on the former college site, or part of the former college site. The Highway Authority state the works are required in the interest of highway safety. The drawing before committee tonight indicates how the junction improvements could be undertaken. These have not been approved, but gives you a sort of guidance of how they potentially could be accommodated. So it pretty much makes two lanes going out of Western Avenue onto London Road. So it allows the free flow of traffic, especially for those people wanting to turn left towards the town centre and then right towards either Northampton, Banbury and other places. So it does not realign the road itself, it keeps the alignment itself, it's just slight widening works at the junction, so it's creating a smaller space between the carriageway and the current petrol filling station. The variation of condition 30 relating to Western Avenue and London Road is therefore recommended for refusal due to highway safety impacts. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Catherine. Is a local member for Drayton?
Well,
You're a local member, right?
no, my ward
Okay.
is abates that one.
You're a local member for Drayton?
No, but it is just round the corner. Abbey South is just round the corner,
Yeah.
and borders it both sides. So
Okay. Well, you both want to speak then. Okay, Councillor Paul, you go first.
Well, thank you, Chairman. Members probably got fed up with me speaking about the previous reason for removing or putting back whatever it was, clause 30, from the same developers for the road junction, you know, not half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from this. I'm interested that on this particular junction, that the highways have said it's at capacity. And it's at capacity because we're going to build 130 houses. Well, they forgot the 130 houses, plus the new college, etc., etc. And our officer has said that it would improve the turn left to go into Daventry town. Well, if you're leaving the 130 houses and all the college, you would go across the Badby Road West, Yeomanry Way, and Western Avenue junction, not come all the way down to that junction to turn left and go all the way back into town. That is an absolutely ridiculous statement. I cannot see why this junction is at capacity when in reality the one further up the road on Badby Road West, Yeomanry Way and Western Avenue junction is not at capacity. And the highways very graciously said at the last one, oh, we made a mistake. Well, Chairman, I don't think they've made a mistake. I don't think that this should go ahead. Our officers have put it up for refusal so that the work can go ahead. Our officers acting in absolute good faith. I think we should go against officer advice that this work shouldn't be done, purely and simply because it will speed up the junction. You've got the exit and entrance to the garage, not only from London Road, you've got the entrance and exit to the garage. There's a car coming out there on London Road. You have where the Shell sign is, where the cursor is there, you have an entrance and exit to the Shell garage there. The traffic doesn't need to speed up, it needs to slow down. Thank you, Chairman. I would like it deferred for a site visit. Thank you.
Well, I think most people know the actual sign, Councillor Paul. And Councillor Wesley.
I agree with everything Councillor Paul has just said. I think this has been a massive mess up along this with the debacle of the mix up with the junctions. It's certainly Yeomanry Way and Badby Road East West that is the issue here, and not this junction. And if there's any money around to fix a junction and to make it better, it should be directly next to the new site. If you live along those roads, I mean, when I was elected to this council, one of the main things down there was, what are you going to do about stopping the speeding traffic and traffic coming along here? That's what they were moaning at, and that's people on both sides of the road, even though I wasn't canvassing on the other side of the road. You've got the sports club on the other side of the road as well. If this junction is designed to slow things down and needs to keep things slowed down. If it means people have got to wait a little bit, then so be it. Because we have what we've got there. We've got the garage, and we've got the garage opposite, and we've got the industrial estate. It is a crazy thing to do, and it is completely at odds with what is needed. But you know, it's a matter of trying to get something done on the other junction, and I'd like to see some sort of deal done where this was this idea was scrapped and something was done further down the road, and on that basis, I think we should go against officer advice on this.
Is that a proposal?
Yeah, that is a proposal.
Yeah, I'm happy to second that.
Okay, so what's your reason for what's the reason for approval?
The reason for refusal?
No, approval.
Well, my reason is that I think it is detrimental to the general traffic flows there. I think the traffic needs slowing down at that junction, not speeding up. I think it's based on a false premise from highways.
Okay, Catherine.
Through you, Chairman, the Council's legal advisor.
Sorry, Simon.
It's not a planning reason, we need a planning reason. You're not the highway authority, you're saying, you're obviously suggesting design capacity for this road, that's a highways matter. This is a planning committee, so we need a planning reason.
Well, can I have some help then on what I can stand? I mean, I believe that the Highways Authority is wrong. I believe it's at odds with the actual, with what's actually going there. And so that is my reason.
Well, and then evidence needs to be used to support that.
How can we, sorry Chairman, how can we afford a planning reason to a highways when we have to listen to what the highways are saying as a statutory consultee? The highways were, without a shadow of a doubt, wrong on the previous removal or putting back of condition 30 at our last planning meeting. I, like my colleague, I think we're in total agreement. A planning reason, it would speed up the road junction. They're taking away amenity land. Could we use that one?
Yes, you can use that.
Yes, we're taking away, okay. We're taking away amenity land to the borders on the front of the garage forecourt on Western Avenue with the junction of London Road.
That's the reason you wish to use that, is it?
Could we use that? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with anything if we need.
Right, okay, we've got that as a reason. Right, Catherine, you'd like to comment
Yes.
on the proposal as well?
Thank you, Chairman. What we've got before you tonight is just the works relating to Western Avenue and London Road. The other side of the
That's
condition
It's
was
gone.
debated at length last planning committee. Now, the applicants Advent Homes did have a look at the existing junction and how it operates. They actually put a camera on one of the lampposts or a lamp or a camera on a pole to see how that actually junction works. And that shows if there's more than one or two cars wanting to turn right, cars going left cannot, and they have to wait until those cars turning right onto London Road to move before they can turn left.
Chairman, if I may come back.
Oh, hold on a second, Colin. Let us finish.
So that shows that there's an issue already. Yes, the pictures don't show that there's an issue, but I've seen it backing up before. Now, so there's an issue. And I know that you mentioned earlier about people from the development going into Daventry town along Badbury Road instead of going down Western Avenue and along London Road. What about all the other houses and areas which are already there, which use Western Avenue to turn left onto London Road? They use that at the moment. Now, you've got the additional 129 houses which will all be using that road, Western Avenue, all the way down to London Road. They're going out potentially towards Northampton, Banbury, or using the ring road in general. So there's going to be more traffic turning right than there is left, so which prevents the free flow of traffic and could result in danger to cyclists as well, because there is a cycle lane as well there existing, which you can see by the Google Maps. Now, by increasing the width of that area, it creates an option for those people who want to turn left to do so freely, and also a free flow of cyclists as well who do use that. Now, highways are telling you it's required to mitigate the impact for the development. This is the only highway improvement works that is required for the 129 houses. There's no other. So this is the only thing that they need to do to mitigate the impact of the development. So by removing the whole condition, there'd be no highway improvement work.
I don't know, but if I may come back, Chairman.
Hold on a second, there are other people who wish to speak. You can come back in a minute, Councillor Bolton. Councillor Irving-Swift.
Yes, what we have in front of us is a removal of a condition. it will not solve a problem if you have a problem somewhere else. So basically, if you remove the condition, the developer will do nothing. The officer has explained why it is, and if you say that because of that, for people who turn left, will speed the traffic, I cannot see your reason. It will make the traffic not. It will not speed the traffic. People will not go suddenly at 60 miles an hour because they. And also, you will have. I don't know because I don't know if we have a speed limit. But if you have a speed limit on that road, if people are speeding, you can ask for the police to police that junction and see what it is. But I do think that I don't see what is the benefit to go to remove that condition 30. I would like to say it stay, and I will vote with officer. Thank you.
Councillor Olga?
Yeah, this is about safety. This is about keeping people safe, and there just seems to be some spillage over from a previous decision we made. I think we need to look at this one on its own merits, and this is about keeping the people of Daventry safe, and the professionals who have reviewed this say it is required to keep the people safe, and I think we need to be supporting that. You know, I've heard so many times from councillors talking about safety and saying, well, when somebody dies, then something will be done. Here we have a situation which quite clearly requires some improvements so that people keep safe, and we seem to be going against it. So I certainly will be going along with officers on this particular matter.
Thank you. Councillor Ritchie?
Thank you. I mean, firstly, we're talking about 130 new homes on the college site, but Western Avenue, feeding in to that road, you have the whole of the Grange, you have the whole of Stephen Hill, you have the Cherry Orchard, which must be something close on about 3,000 homes. The percentage increase is therefore not huge over what it is at the moment. And secondly, I would be interested in the officer's view. I see that on that as part of the application, the applicant submitted some survey work, some modelling work on traffic flows that seem to indicate that, you know, at the worst, you would have 3 cars that were actually waiting to get out. And if that's the case, are we really talking about a problem that that is a real one? In terms of traffic speeds and safety, clearly it is safer if the traffic speeds are slower. I can actually think why it should make a great deal of difference. You know, given that if you only have the most 2 or 3 cars that will ever be queuing, given that 2 cars can they talk about it up Flair Junction where 2 cars can simultaneously be waiting to get out onto London Road. Under these conditions, I can't actually understand why it is going to make a great deal of difference having this widened road at this point. I can't see why a measure to make the traffic move faster is going to contribute to pedestrian safety. I never like the idea that we allow a developer to get off with without spending money that they otherwise committed themselves to spending. But in this case, I can't actually see how it is going to make a very great deal of difference. But one final question. I do get sort of slightly confused with what are almost sort of double negatives here. The application is to have the condition removed. If we are approving an application, in other words, accepting the condition should be removed, does that need a planning reason to go with it?
We do if we reverse this, yes. Right.
If I might, I think the reason the highways are looking to ensure the free flow of traffic around this junction is because it's got some issues that highways would never have allowed now. This garage has got an access point here and an access point on the other side. If this was being planned today, they would never allow so many exits to that. Because that garage has been there 40 years and never got closed, the highways have to live with that. So that's part of the reason why having queues of traffic here is troublesome, because actually it starts blocking up the garage from both directions, and people are more likely to try and cut through and that sort of thing. I think you need to take into account that it's actually quite a busy road, and I certainly, as a local person, I've seen that backed up more than 3 or 4 cars on a pretty regular basis any time of day.
And in addition, it's not just the 130 houses that are being proposed, it's also the college campus, which is a Northamptonshire campus. So there'll be a lot more people using the roads. And also, the works required aren't that huge compared to other highway improvement works for other sorts of development. So when we have to look at planning conditions, we have to make sure they meet the 6 tests, and we feel this condition meets those 6 tests. It's necessary to make the development acceptable. But just by moving the footpath back and widening the road, it will improve the current situation. Yes, the applicants have undertaken a lot of work to try and overcome the highway authority's concerns, but all the evidence that they have provided to the county have backed up their objection that this junction is at capacity, and the works required will help mitigate that impact. So that's why we're recommending it for refusal.
Jake, I just got a clarification on that point. Is it...
Now, hold on a
Just a
second.
clarification on the point.
Let me, one more speaker, then I'll come back to you two, okay? Right, Councillor Chandler.
Thank you, Chairman. I know this junction very well because I'm often coming along Long March and looking around here in order to get to the hospital. I just wanted to point out that we've been suggested that the loss of amenity land might be used as a reason to reject this proposal, or this proposed refusal. My own view on that is very different. Part of the improvement is to increase the width of the footpath to 2 metres. As one who uses footpaths a lot in a wheelchair, I would fully support that as an improvement. I would also fully support the inclusion of an extra drop curb and tactile crossing point, but I might also suggest, although it's not part of this thing, that the island nearest the London Road could do with having a wheelchair accessible crossing put in, because at the moment it's got curbs all the way around. But no, I support the officer's opinion here, but I wanted to draw particular attention to the fact that the gain is not just for vehicular traffic and the views at the junction, but that there's also a gain for pedestrians.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to come back to the seconder, then the proposer. Councillor Paul.
The junction was reconfigured many years ago. If you look at the screen, there is a indicative trees on the bottom right-hand corner, and then there is a distinct curve going into that junction. It was a Y junction, and it was reconfigured in that way purely and simply to slow the traffic down. And whilst I have to accept our officers, I've said in the past, however, the assumption that the extra 130 people are going to use that junction is absolutely ridiculous, because they're not. They're going to either turn left and go into town, or they're going to go north. But we are in the game of trying to slow traffic in the town centre in exactly the same way as we're trying to slow traffic going through God knows how many villages in our district. This is not just a town-centric problem, it is a district problem. what we're trying to do is to encourage people either to slow or to use other forms of transport. And the reasons that highway have used, I mean, I remember the time when people were going to die at the junction of the A5 and the A45 because Tesco's was going to be built on the corner. And at that time, a site visit was arranged with the highways and with our planning committee. I've never seen so many highways people there in all my life. And all I'm asking at this moment in time is a site visit so that highways can explain. You know, it is at capacity. How many other roads in the district are at capacity? One of the worst ones of all is the 508. And the highways don't seem to bother about that one.
Okay.
Sorry, Chairman, I can't refuse to remove the seconding the proposal. If it gets voted against as the last one, then so be it.
Okay, Councillor Weston.
Yeah, I have to say I'm still confused. We've got the officers telling us that they've seen cars backing up there and everything. We've all got tales about that junction. What that does as well, as far as safety goes, common sense will tell you this, but by actually speeding up that left-hand turn, it puts it in closer proximity to the people trying to turn out or turn in to the garage. That cannot be sensible. That cannot be sensible. I can say, if other people can say that they've seen it and they know that there's an issue, then I can say I know there's an issue because I've seen it. As far as the footpath and what have you there, nobody walks around that side of the garage anyway. It never ever happens. It's not used because people cut through. People actually walk around through the forecourt of the garage by the shop. So very, very few people actually use that. And any cycle lane like that in Daventry is virtually unusable anyway. And I would say that from experience, whether you flare it or not. And it is just so obvious that it's the wrong thing to do. And just because an authority that basically got it wrong anyway, the whole thing wrong, I'm supposed to listen to them when they actually got their junctions confused. Read the works the yeomanry way. So they're not right all the time, are they? And so I stick to what I say.
Thank you. I have to say that when I mean, you think what you want to think, but I know when I do a job in Stephen Hill in my biggish van, and I come out of Stephen Hill to go back to Longbury, my route is to come out of Stephen Hill, come up to this junction, turn left, then right, and then go across the South Brook, right? Which is the obvious way to go. If there are several people in front of me, a lorry or a few cars turning right, I have to wait ages to turn left.
Good.
So I know a problem exists at certain times of the day because you've got to sit there while all the vehicles, and they have difficulty in turning right because of the traffic coming along London Road. So you can't get to turn left very, very easily. So I've only found that out myself. Catherine, you want to say something out?
Yeah. This drawing before us is only indicative as well. It has not been agreed by the local highway authority. This was only provided to give members an indication of what could happen. So it's not been agreed between the highway authorities or the developer. But what the information before us is this is required for the free flow of traffic and in the interest of highway safety, which is the reasons which is down before you tonight, members.
Now, you want to say something quick?
Yeah, just very
Councillor,
quickly.
because we go to the
talked a
vote.
lot about speed here. You know, excessive speed kills. You know, as drivers, we don't excessively speed when we're coming up to a junction. And this isn't talking about excessive speed. This is talking about free flow, which is allowing the vehicles to move in a more efficient manner. So I think I just feel it's slightly misrepresented about excessive speed or speed. This is not increasing or having excessive speed. This is about free flow, which is more an efficient path of traffic. Well, of course it is, and safety, it produces both of those. But I just wanted to raise that point.
Thank you. Right, we have a proposal that the application be approved, which has been seconded. All those in favour, please show. 2. Those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There must be an abstention, is that correct? One abstention. Right. Now, at last planning committee, sorry, I should have said to you before the committee, there was a debate on whether we ought to go the other way or not. Our nice legal man tells us it doesn't happen in every other council. This is the only council it happens. So do I stand in order to say that? Should we do that or not? Because I've got advice from this side.
It's a slightly different situation here then, because this was the contra one. So you do now, on this occasion, you would need to, because you haven't actually approved, because the reasons for entitled.
Okay, right, okay. So I need a proposal then. Thank you, Councillor Auger. A seconder? Thank you, Councillor. All those in favour, please show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those against? 2. An abstention? 1. 8 to 1. The application is refused as granted to the advice. Okay, I recognise you need to go.
Thank you. Please excuse me.
Our next application is in Byfield and it's 0518.
Thank you, Chairman. Signed by Mr. Bonds Road in Byfield, the currently combination agricultural and ground care machinery dealership, which also provides servicing and aftercare. The business has been established since 1976 and provides a source of local employment and also contributes to the local economy. However, due to the physical limitations of the site and expanding business, applicants have proposed to relocate the business to a larger site accessible on Daventry Road in Byfield, and this will be subject to another application which is intended to be presented to the planning committee in a future date. The current application seeks outline consent for residential development on the current site with access for approval. It's intended to redevelop this brownfield site and fund the relocation of business to new premises. You'll note from the report that there are no objections to the application. The parish council supportive of the application are as officers as well. And then raising the applications before members tonight so that we can secure affordable housing provision of 40%. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, John. Councillors. Oh yes, local member.
Thank you, Chairman. East Farrell is a John Deere dealership, and as you say, he's been there for a long time, and it does cause a lot of problems up and down the Boddington Road when he has deliveries. And the site on the A361, which he's purchased very recently, it is a much better site for the business, and the parish and everybody concerned would much rather that the business stayed in the village rather than went elsewhere, which was the other option. And so that's really what's changed, apart from the raft of policies that have changed since the last review in 2004. And the other thing I can say is that I'm quite happy to accept officers' advice and send out a proposal, Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Irving Swift went up first. Do you wish to speak, Councillor Irving Swift?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Well, we have a proposal, the application be approved as per officer's advice. It's been seconded. All those in favour, please show. Unanimous. The whole lot. Unanimous. Right. That concludes the business. Thank you for attending.